But anyway, right around this time, the club decided to shut down. We got kicked out. You guys know about that. And it was like one thing after another was screwing up. So I had a series of videos planned for you guys. Okay, I really did. And like I said, a lot of you guys know my computer crashed right around the time the club shut down. I was taking video left and right. I had a video called, I was going to title it Mikado Madness. Okay. I told all the guys, said, hey, bring your Mikados down on Friday. We're all going to run Mikados. I had like 5 Mikados. Everybody was running Mikados. Um, and I had a video of it going through the mountains, going past my modules, everything, right? I was also documenting all the different planning stages that Guy and I had done with all the scenery. And this is where it cuts out because for those of you who are subscribed, you have not seen the scenery that had been done to the modules. So we're about to get into that next, okay? We're about to get into the scenery. You're going to see what the modules look like pretty much now, okay? But we did, before we left, we did put scenery down. We did put scenery on the modules. The last one that you saw was the 6 footer. The 6 footer was the first one to actually get completed. The shop and the approach we took a little bit of a break from to get the 6 footer done. We put the 6 footer in the system, and right after we put the 6 footer in, then we find out we're getting kicked out because that building that we were in, they actually tore it down. They're gonna build a new one. There's gonna be City Hall, yay! Train Club gets kicked out for City Hall. Congratulations to us, right? But um, we didn't get the chance to scenic. Well, no, we did scenic everything, and I wish I had more pictures and photos to show you guys, and I did, but excuse me, like I said, my computer crashed, but I was able to retrieve a few things from when I took the modules back home, when we were in that year and a half respite of trying to find a new place to go into. Um, and if you look here, I have a small video. This is a video of my 412-2 that I bought and my MTH Big Boy running side by side. Now, side note, the Big Boy has been sold. I sold it because I want to buy the MTH Big Boy that's coming out, or sorry, the Broadway Limited Big Boy that's coming out later this year. So I wanted to sell that before everybody got sick of the MTH and wanted to bring the price down. Anyway, this you get an idea here of what the modules look like scenic. Um, Here is a better image. This is what we did. So we put down grass, we put down ballast. We started adding little details, little shrub. We even added some trees. You'll see those later on. But these are the modules in there in my house. In the background, you can kind of see I have some telephone poles in there. I put telephone poles in. The telephone poles are still in now. It added some extra flair to the modules. They're running parallel to the 27 line. Is basically what it is. Telephone poles are running next to the 27 line, and they look fantastic. And I hope I took some pictures of the telephone poles. If not, I'll get some to you guys later in a few. I have a few videos that I have planned, and we'll get to in a bit. But this is this is kind of what the modules look like. I have a few other pictures here. They're not the best. Um, these were, kind of desk shots that I was playing around with, kind of working on playing around with some lighting in my room. I'm trying to get a nighttime or a late night sunset kind of a feel with my FEF here. But these are kind of what the modules look like when we got them, when we got them scenic. And it was a very interesting time period, very depressing. You go from having a place to run trains you can go to anytime you want, right, to run trains, and then you go to not being able to run trains at all for over a year. I didn't run trains, legitimately run trains for almost 2 years, guys. That's why I didn't do any product reviews. That's why and the other thing is, I had a lot of personal things going on in my life. Money was tight with the family. The only train that I had bought in that time span was the 412-2, and that was pretty much the last video that I had done, other than the part one of the layout showcasing. So, didn't really have a lot of time to devote to trains, and also there wasn't a place to really run trains. I tried to set up some Bachmann Easy Track on my floor. It's just not the same. It's really not the same. But here you can kind of get an idea. This is the 6 footer, again 6 foot module. You kind of get an idea, some of the ballast, some of the scenery that I had there. And it was really messy. Somehow train tables just seem to accumulate just junk. Here's my little 060. Suppose you can see the 7-Up cans in the background. That's real prototypical, right? I actually weathered this. This is one of the first steam locomotives I weathered. You guys can tell me what you think of that, but I think that came out pretty well. Um, But these are, this. I know these pictures aren't the best, guys, but this is kind of what I have to show you of what the modules looked like when we were going through the scenery phase. So then, all this. So anyway, all this time passes. The modules are just sitting in my basement, in my room, and eventually we find a new place. So the train club is back. Let me just make that announcement right now. The train club is back. We're operational. The layout's up. Everything's running fantastic. My modules are in the system. Okay, but I'm gonna show you a few pictures from before all that. So, oh wait, I just realized I'm looking here. So I'm kind of going through the pictures one by one as I'm talking to you guys, and I realized now I do have some pictures of what the modules look like better than the ones I just showed you. I do have some pictures of what the modules look like. Before the next phase, which we'll get into in a minute. But I know you think that the modules are done now, but man, just give me a minute. Just wait. But anyway, so this is a general overview. So this is the 6 footer. That's the shop. And then the approach is way over there on the other side. Okay, these are my 3 modules right here. So you're kind of getting an overview. Now we're gonna switch it up. We're gonna just go to a few different scenes that I have here. I took pictures of. So this here's the Coaling Tower. 060 is just sitting there. Proto 2000 060 next to the engine shed that's lit up. Got a few different shots of this area. Oh, that's the other cool thing I did. I also weathered the ground around it. So obviously it's a coal tower. The ground isn't gonna be just nice and clean. It's gonna be gritty and have soot and coal dust and everything sitting around there. So I actually did weather that, and I had some um, this I don't know what exactly it was. It was like this black crushed up black rock type material, and I used that as coal, actual bits of coal that I put down around the track, as like coal that had spilled out. And I don't have an image of that because, like I said, it was deleted from my computer. But you can get an idea of what it looks like with just those black marks around that area. But this is the outside of the engine shed. Just this area where the coal tower is. You can see once again there's one of the lights there that sits on the coal tower. You can see it over the stairway over there, top right hand corner of the coal tower. Here is the shop. Okay, there's the shop. This is kind of what excuse me. This is what the scenery was looking like at the time. There, this, we put the sand down for as our ballast. We got a little bit of the greenery for the grass. Looks pretty good. Um, yes, that is the Broadway Limited Colt water tower. I did buy one of those. The review of that will be coming. I put that on my module. It's a fun little thing. When people come to the layout and they see that I hit the button, everyone just flips. Like they think that's the coolest thing ever. And you got to keep in mind, like a lot of the guys at the train club, they don't keep up with the newest technology. They don't keep up with the newest innovations in the hobby. They didn't even know that this thing existed, but when they saw it and they hear the sounds and I'm feeling a water in my tender, they absolutely love it. And it puts a smile on my face to see a smile on their face, and it adds some animation to my modules. And it just gets me really excited to know that, that's there. So yes, we have the Broadway Limited water tower on the modules now. So this is kind of like phase 3 or phase 4 of where we're at. We're still doing a bit of planning, but now I'm adding new things. So I took the old water tower out, right? And I put this one in. There's another shot of it. And like I said, if you've been following me on Facebook, you know that I've had this for a little while. And I'll leave a link to my Facebook page. You guys can definitely add me on there. It's Clint Brantley, also the Steam King. Oh, that's the one. There's one thing I was supposed to tell you. I forgot. A little fun story. So the east side, okay? It's interesting because at the old train club, we were on the east side of the layout, right? Well, now we're on the west side of the layout. Now, let me mention a couple things as well. The layout is a bit smaller, okay? We're about 2/3 the size that we were before. There are a few modules we're missing, but it's still a pretty big layout, and I'll give you a layout overview sometime in the future. Okay, we're about 2/3 the size that we were before, but we were kind of forced to be put on the west side instead of the east side because the east flank wouldn't have worked for us. And we also don't have the same amount of modules that we had before. We still own an entire flank, but we don't have the same amount of modules that we did. I think before combined we had what was it, like 12 and a half 12 between 12, it's like somewhere between 12 and a half 10 and 12 and a half modules. I think that guy and I had together, maybe even a bit more than that. But now we've got about 5.5 in the system. Okay, but we're we now call ourselves the East Side on the West Side. But the one thing I forgot to tell you was when Rick gave me that station platform, the new station platform. It had what I forget what the name. It said like I forgot the name of the city or the name of the town that it was on there, but it was some like it had something to do with the Great Northern, right? And guy was like, we need to change that. And so Rick and I, we were standing around one day and we were just standing there thinking about, like names for, kind of like our section of the layout. And then I'm like, what if we named it Eastwood? And Guy's face just changes. He's like, Clint's Eastwood? Yes! And he just puts up his hand, gives me a high five. We were ecstatic. But this is known as the Eastwood branch. I call it the Eastwood branch, okay? So we're the east side on the west side, but we will forever be known as Eastwood. Clint's Eastwood. And I still have to make the sign for it so I can put it on there. But Eastwood is what we call this section, okay? So here's that. There's another picture of, you kind of get an idea of what the modules look like. There's the grass over there next to the 5 line. And there were some damages that were done at the time from moving the modules around from them being in my house. Some of the grass had been ripped up, but that's okay because I decided to make a few changes, and this is where the big change comes in. And now you guys will be completely up to date. And like I said, if you've been following me on Facebook, you'll have already seen this. But for you, a lot of my subscribers who haven't been, a lot of my new subscribers, I'd like to show you what the modules look like. Now, this is the big change, and the big change here is the static grass. So we went from this is the 6-foot module, right? I showed you just a second ago. This is what it looked like before, with everything was flat. Now this is what it looks like with the static grass. Now this is my first time. Keep in mind, this is my first time ever doing static grass, and I really, really would like some opinions on this. But I have quite a few images of what the static grass looks like. So this was just this is my little guy that I use. I typically have him next to the steam locomotive, the derelict steam locomotive. He's like ripping it apart, taking pieces off. But I put him here for scale next to the grass so people could get an idea of how long the grass was, right? But the 6-foot module was the first one I decided to put the static grass on, and I think it came out pretty freaking well. I was really happy with it. I took 2 colors, I blended together, so you'll see some dry spots there in the grass mixed with the vibrant green, the lush green. And I'm going for like a late summer kind of a feels, And my lifetime I mowed a lot of lawns. Um, I had my own lawn mowing business somewhat, and I worked with my uncle. He had his own lawn mowing business, and towards the end of the summer season, the grass starts to dry out quite a bit, and so it's not as like dark green. It's more of like a olive-ish green, a lighter green color, and there's some gonna be some browns and some blondes mixed in there, and that's kind of what I did, or kind of what I was going for, and so. This here, you'll get an idea of really what the grass looks like. I use 6 millimeter static grass, and I think it looks absolutely fantastic. Here's a picture of a few diesel locomotives that I have. I know diesels. Here a picture of a few diesels that I have next to the static grass, and I love taking shots on the 6-foot module of the locomotives, and then get a shot of the grass and those trees that you're seeing there. Also, just to mention, a guy made those. He put those on there. And I think the trees mixed with the grass, it came out so well. It just looks so awesome. Here's an overview of everything with the static grass. So now let's get into some particulars, okay? Let's get into the nitty gritty here. So first things first, all right. Dude, when I got the static grass, let me tell you, I went to town. I went crazy. I started putting grass on everything. I mean, there's grass growing out of my engines. I swear, it's crazy. Just so freaking awesome. I love the static grass applicator. So that derelict steam locomotive that we talked about earlier, well, there's grass growing out of the abandoned siding now. Decided to put that there. I think it added a nice little effect to that derelict, abandoned feeling. Now there's kind of like a more weed, it was like weeds growing there. Love it. So happy to have that. Here's a picture of the shop and the approach. Some images I have of the static grass. That's over there. I think it looks phenomenal on these modules. Um, there's another shot of it right here. Just you kind of get a close up of the grass and how it stands up. So it's not real long. I actually want longer grass. I'm actually gonna go back and get some 10 millimeter grass. That's the next phase, to get some 10 millimeter static grass, because some of it was matted and it didn't stand up as it didn't actually stand up at all. It didn't stand up like I wanted. So I'm gonna go back and redo some of the grass. But basically, let me explain this real quick, because right now you're looking at a picture of the signal, and you're seeing how the grass is a bit more dead here. So the way I thought of it, the way I justified it was this, right? So so from the 6 footer on, what's happening is the grass is getting more and more dried out, because you're going from a lush area. Like I always, because that's like the edge of the earth, right? I'm like, you don't know what could be there. It could be a schoolyard, it could be a bank, and they could tend to the grass over there, right? So on the 6 foot module with all the trees, that's kind of what I always envisioned being on that side if the edge of the earth didn't exist there, right? Just kind of a church or a bank or something, or a schoolyard, and that's why the grass is so lush there. But as you get closer towards the train yard, certain areas start getting matted down. You see more dirt mixed in with the static grass, and you also see that it's a bit drier. And there's a transition, and you probably won't be able to see it on these pictures, but you'll see, like, you'll notice that on the 6 footer, like I said, it's real lush there, and then over here on the train yard, on the shop, and the approach, it's a bit more dried out. So that was the effect that I was going for. But you can kind of see what I was doing, with the signal, this whole area here. Here's the signal tower. Now that the grass is there, I kind of, like I said, I blotched it out. I put sand and dirt there. I matted it down, so there's some sections where the grass stands up, and there's other areas where it's just matted and it's mostly dirt. This next one, I'd say I'm kind of proud of. This is the new detail that I added around the signal house. As you can see, the signal house is weathered, right? Signal tower is weathered. But I also have these bushes that I put there. I love those bushes. I love how it just looks so cool. You ever do like something on your layout and you just look at him like, man, that's freaking sweet, and you get all excited about it because it just looks real cool. That's kind of where I'm at right now. But anyway, there's the bushes, and then there's some more static grass here. Let's see. Here's the train station. I added a couple people there at the train station. There's a guy talking to the someone at the ticket booth. There's another guy sitting over there on the bench. Um, let's see here. Okay. So the next one is the warehouse, and the grass one on the warehouse I think came out really well. Um, as you can see here, this is kind of I put some grass in between the 9 line and the siding that was originally going towards the approach to the waterway. So there's some grass there. I think that came out real nice. Here's some more grass next to the 5 line on the track. Um, here's some more. You get a different aspect or a different perspective of what the grass looks like. I also put grass growing to the train tracks at the warehouse too, so it looked like there was weeds growing up to the track. Over time, it actually eventually got matted down. It looks a bit taller here, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back and get some of that 10 millimeter static grass, and then I'm going to shoot that up through the tracks and make it look a bit more realistic. Because that's something I've been talking about since the very creation of my modules, is that I wanted weeds growing to the train track from the very beginning, from the early stages, the very planning stages of the modules. I wanted weeds growing to the tracks, and I'm going to make sure that I do that. And I'm going to make sure it's done the right way, because this came out nice, but it didn't stick up as tall as I wanted it to. I want you to be able to tell that there's some weeds growing in those tracks. So I'm going to go back and do that over again, but put a little shrubbery there. You got the static grass. You got the grass growing to the tracks. Kind of adding to that overall scene here. Here's some more grass around the back side and the side of the warehouse. More another angle of the grass there, right? Now, because the waterway is gone, we don't have room for it. Guy put his church in there. He has a little church module. It's like a 2 foot module. Put that in. It actually works really well um, next to the approach. So what I did was I just put a little buffer that I had sitting there. Just put that in on the siding. So now instead of it going through to the waterway and connecting to the 27 line, now that track that's on the warehouse, now it just dead ends there, but it still works. Really happy with the way that turned out. Here's some static grass next to the engine shed, right next to the coal tower, and it's kind of dried out there, and it stops because obviously coal is going to kill the grass. So there's only so far I could bring that grass over, but there was just enough there, to make it look nice. Um, I do have a picture of the coal around the coal tower. Here's that. Here's the weathered coal tower. You can see the little bits of coal that I have around there, and then you can see more weeds growing to the tracks on the 27 line right here. I added that as well. I'm gonna redo that as well. But like I said, I think that came out really cool. Here's more picture of the static grass, more of a bird's eye view of the static grass here. And then here's a close up of those weeds growing in the tracks on the 27 line. So I'm gonna make it longer. I really want the grass to be longer. It has to be longer. It really needs to be longer. Um, I added more grass in here. I think that came out nice. I added some grass next to the station platform. Um, and just you get an idea of kind of what the overall scene looks like. Now I didn't stop here. It didn't end here. Okay. Oh, here's grass next to my car, and yeah, I put a little guy next to the red car too. So and remember once again, that's our little secret, but that's the switch for the signal. Okay. So I decided to put that in there. I really love this scene right here. A lot of people gave me compliments on this picture right here, but just the overall look of the signal tower, the signal there, the way the grass looks, just looking at the tracks. Just I love that angle. Here's some shots at night. Here's some night shots of the static grass. Oh man, there's that warehouse again, and there's the grass. It's just, man, it looks. When you turn off the lights and you get that dusk slash nighttime set, it looks so real. The grass just adds a all around better illusion. But the thing is, here's the crazy part. You guys still haven't seen the best part about the east side on the west side. Eastwood has so much to offer, and I'm gonna get to that in a minute when we get towards the end, because we're wrapping it up here. But I'm just gonna briefly go over some of the, these are just different shots, guys, of kind of what everything looks like. And what I did, and the other thing I did, you probably can't see it yet, but I added scrap to the train yard. Added bits and pieces of scrap metal. At the last train show, I bought a bunch of junk scrap pieces, so I got little gears, and I think that's a smokestack over there. And I decided just to put it all throughout the yard. I weathered it. Also ended up weathering the grass too. That was an accident, but my friend Ryan, so like my little brother there, he actually told me, he's like, actually that's kind of realistic, because if it rains, right? If it rains on if the rain hits a piece of rusted metal, that rust is going to seep onto the grass. So it's actually prototypical to have that bit of rust wear or rust spots around the area of the weathered pieces. So I'm happy that it came out like that. There's more stuff. I put a little slab of wood over there, some 2x4s. Put that over there next to the warehouse. I put a little metal can underneath the steps over there. I put another board leaning up against the warehouse too. Just gave it some character, added some character to it. Really like the way that looked. Here's some more scrap in the yard, and the on the shop module. Just the engine, my little 060 just chilling there. Love it, freaking love it. Here's a different angle. Just a few different angles of just this overall scene. I got some broken wheels in there. I got some valves. I got just all sorts of cool stuff. There's a knuckle sitting over in there too. And now we get to a few more night shots. There's a couple night shots here. The engine's just sitting in the shed. Another one on that station platform at night. Love that. So basically, guys, at this point, my modules are pretty much done. There's still, like I said, there's still some things I want to touch up on. Still some things I need to alter. But actually, I shouldn't say that, because there are actually a few more projects I need to do. Some lighting effects that I'm trying to work out, and there's a couple other things. But I'm gonna save that for another video. I'm not gonna talk about that right now, because this video is going on long enough. I really like this shot. These are a few of guys' box cars that were just sitting there. I took a picture of that. And now here's some interesting pictures that I put on my Snapchat. I edited these. My Mikado in black and white. I added a filter to this scene for my signal. I just like the way that looks. I just love that. Here is another same picture of the Mikado, or a similar picture. Just different filter on it. I love this one. I really do. You guys can give me your opinions on this. I took this as well. Um, just engine sitting here in the yard, nothing crazy. Coal tower in the background. There's my car. You see a little bit of scrap. Guy leaning over the side of the station platform, looking down the track. All that. Um, Another image of the Mikado next to that Broadway Limited water tower. Let's see what else. What else did I put in here? Um, like I said, just different shots of, what the modules look like for from the east side on the west side. And here's a shot of the warehouse in black and white. I like that. Here's another shot of this the previous picture in black and white as well. I took multiples. I saved multiple images. I took multiple filters or multiple. No, God, I can't even talk today. I took the same image. I have multiple edits of the same image, so you'll see it in different formats, different filters, different colors. So here's kind of a video of one of my locomotives running through. Had my J running past with the static grass. So you kind of get a video, and you get to see what it actually looks like to have a train run through on these modules. I just love how the static grass added so much depth, so much realism to uh, to the layout, and it just looks so cool to me. I love it, and there is a really interesting feature, really neat feature about this club that we didn't have at the old club, and I'm gonna get to that in just a second. Hopefully, you guys can just hang on long enough. I know this video's been stretching on for a while, but there's a really neat feature that we have here that we don't have at the old club. But let me go through a couple of night shots. These were something that my friend Ryan and I, little bro, we went down and we took some pictures of our trains. Here are my Alco PAs next to his Broadway Limited Mikado. Um, we just decided to take some night shots. This is that shot of the red signal that I was telling you about earlier, right? Just how it looks next to that Alco PA at night. This is one of my favorite shots that we took that night. Here's another one. A lot of these shots were inspired by Ryan. Ryan, he would like, hey, you should do this or you should do that, and I would listen to him, and we just come up with cool stuff. Just all these cool different shots. This is one I really love. These next two. So here is my Alco PA next to now his turbine. Yes, it's the turbine that I bought at the show a few years back. I gave that to him as a birthday present. I don't run it. I ran it like twice. He actually ran it more than I did, even when I owned it. So I decided to say, "Hey, bro, happy birthday! Here's your 18th birthday present." Gave that to him. That's his favorite engine. He absolutely loves it. But here is, I think, probably the coolest shot out of this series of photos that we took, and that is my Alco PA next to his Union Pacific turbine, and the PA is number 70, and the turbine is number 71, and they're just sitting here at a signal, getting ready to go. And I just thought that was so cool. One of my favorite shots of all time that I've taken at the club. Just really fantastic, and that was a good night. We had a blast that night running trains. So, but now let's get to that feature that I think is the best about this club. So one of the benefits to this club that we have that we didn't have the old club is that we have windows, and having windows means that we have natural lighting, and it looks so freaking awesome to take pictures in natural lighting rather than have that synthetic lighting that we always had all the time. It adds a whole another layer of realism, and you guys will see it here in a minute, because as as my time progressed at the club, as I got more comfortable at the club, taking photos and stuff, my photography got a bit better, and so some of the shots of the static grass and everything got a bit more realistic. These are some shots of my Bachmann 2662, Chesapeake, Ohio 2662. This is the first steam locomotive I ever weathered. You guys are going to see some shots of that. Here's one I really love. It's just of some freight cars, but I love this shot because you get to see the richness of that natural lighting. Now, I never realized this, but natural lighting adds such a prototypical look to your layout. If any of you ever have the chance to build a layout, I would say try to do it in a place where you can have windows, and that's something that I've learned from just being a part of this club. I think now one day when I build my dream layout, I'm gonna have windows because nothing beats the look of natural lighting. It's beautiful. It is so beautiful. It's so rich, vibrant. It gives you just a complete different feeling, complete different atmosphere when you're running trains. You can run trains all day in your house, you know, with just the lights turned on or even the lights turned off. Yeah, that's great. But when you get the natural lighting in there from the window and it hits that boxcar and it hits that New York Central Hudson or it hits those Santa Fe Alco PAs or those F units, it it just does something to your soul, and you feel it. You can see it. You can feel it. It looks absolutely amazing. Here's a couple more shots of my Malay. Um, that caboose, that Chesapeake and Ohio caboose that you see there in the background, was given to me by my friend Adam Pomeranz, aka Adari Bros, on YouTube. Go subscribe to him. He's got fantastic content on his channel. He actually is one of the few guys on here that does reviews and videos and tutorials on brass. He has more videos coming soon, so please go subscribe to him. He actually gave me that brass caboose for my birthday. Goes great with my Bachman 2662. And it's just he's been trying to get me into brass for years, and now I'm kind of, I'm gonna be honest, guys. I'm kind of getting into brass now. I'm starting to see the draw of brass, and there will be videos about that soon. I'm gonna be doing some brass videos here in the future, but I'm kind of learning and becoming more knowledgeable about the benefits of brass locomotives, and I'm gonna be talking about that here in the future. So stay tuned for those. I got a lot of content I'm planning for you guys. Anyway, so here's just a couple more shots. Here's a shot of my Challenger. That was the last steam locomotive I weathered. I haven't done anything since. That was preparation for the big boy, but like I said, I sold it, so didn't get the chance to really to weather that. But it's all good because I'll probably weather the Broadway Limited when that comes out. When I get that, you can kind of see here. I added some watermarks to the side of the boiler, like the water runoff. I spent the most time detailing this one. I spent 4 hours weathering this locomotive trying to get it to look right. Very happy with the way it turned out. I love this engine. The Athearn did a fantastic job on this model. Absolutely love it. But now we're getting into the better pictures, and this is where we're going to wrap the video up. But these are some of my favorites. I saved the best for last. Of my favorite pictures of the natural lighting, and I think that you know, when you guys look at these, when you see these pictures, I want you to think about where we started from at the beginning of this video to where we are now. And I want to also say that I want to thank each and every one of you. If you stayed this far in the video, thank you so much, and I appreciate it. And I hope that this is well worth the wait, because these pictures here, in my opinion, are some of the best that I've taken so far. Um, this one here is just I call it the lone locomotive, just a single locomotive sitting there in the yard, no cars, nothing, just sitting there waiting for its orders. Long day of work ahead of it, and you get that rich natural lighting and the natural shadows that occur from the light being, hitting the side of the structures and the trees and the local, all that. I love it. The next ones though, here we go. These are the ones that that I really enjoy. My Santa Fe F units next to the static grass, natural lighting hitting it, looked absolutely fantastic. Going through the railroad crossing, I took a few shots of that actually. And if you were on my Facebook last week, you probably already saw these, but here they are again. This one right here is my favorite. I just love how that looks. The metal finish, the static grass, the trees there, going to the railroad crossing, going to the yard. It just, man, there's something, guys. I'm telling you, that natural lighting, it really adds a whole nother layer of realism. Now, here's the last thing I'm going to say about this, about Eastwood, about the east side on the west side. We have, because we're right next to the windows, and this guy and I, we were down there a couple nights ago, and we were actually down there last week when we discovered this, but he opened up the windows one day, and I'm sitting there, and there's a breeze coming in, and all the smells from outside are coming through the window. All the lights are off inside the building. The natural light is coming in and it's hitting it. And I'm like, wow. I'm like, do you see this? He's like, what? I'm like, I feel like I'm outside right now. And the breeze is hitting it, it's coming in, it's coming through the window. And little blades of grass are actually moving on my modules on the static grass. I'm like, I really feel like I'm outside of the train yard right now. And here's a cool thing. our train club is right across the street from a train yard, so we see locomotives going by all the time. Like it's at least every 15 minutes there's a new train coming through, and so you get the sound effects of the trains from the outside, but you also got your trains on the inside. You got that breeze coming in. You got the spring air. You can smell the flowers. You can see, and then you look at the modules and you see the grass, the static grass actually blowing in the wind. You see the trees, the natural lighting's coming in. It's hitting those F units, and you're just sitting there like, man, you can't. It can't get any more real than this. It really can't. Um, Man, here's a shot of my Alco PAs passing my cab forward. Love that. Here's another one. Them at the crossing, next to the tree. I think it's fantastic. Here's just a picture of the cab forward by itself at the crossing going through. Couple more shots. One of the Malay, and the next one is my 060. Once again, the lone locomotive just sitting there in the yard waiting for orders. And then one more shot of it before we go. Guys, thank you so much for sitting here and listening to me talk. It has been a hell of a journey. I hope that you haven't been too bored from listening to me ramble on about all these things about my modules. I hope that this video has been entertaining for you. Please, I mean, I put a lot of work into these modules, and I really, it's not just for my own benefit, for my own gratification. I like doing it because I like to show it to other people. I like to get other people's opinions, and I like to see a smile and see the enjoyment from other people. If you get the chance, please, I really plead with you, please leave a link, just a comment down below, give me your thoughts on what you think of the scenery. And I'm still not done yet. I got a lot more things that I have planned, even for the east side and the west side. There are a couple more modules that we're talking about, taking on and doing some scenery too. We're talking about adding in a power plant now. And putting in, you can see the telephone poles in the background, actually putting wire to the telephone poles, stringing it up through there and having it feed into the power plant. But anyway, please leave some comments. Share the video. Tell your friends to leave comments. Get anybody you can. Share it on Facebook. I really want my subscribers to get involved with this one, because this is something that I feel like when you look at a person's layout, you look at how they model and what they model, you kind of get a good idea of, you get an idea, you get a look into their mind and who they are as a person to a certain degree. And this is something that I believe that's very personal to me, to give you guys an idea of what I like to do, how I like to model. And like I said, this is the first time I've ever modeled anything. I've had a lot of help, but I've done a lot of this stuff on my own too. I've done a lot of the work on my own. But I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for the amazing people at the train club. I gotta give some shout outs to Guy, absolutely number one, Rick, Bill helped out, Mark helped out quite a bit. Ryan, my little brother Ryan, man, all these guys, if it wasn't for them, then none of the modules would be where they are right now. Anyway, guys, I'm gonna wrap this bad boy up. Comments down below, like it, share it. You know the drill. Hopefully this was an interesting experience for all of us. I hope that like I said, I hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you guys in my next video, which is something really special. It's gonna be a review. It's gonna be a review of a locomotive that I wanted more than the big boy. But the funny part about this locomotive is I didn't know I wanted it until I didn't even know the train existed until it was announced to be released. And I'm going to give you a hint. Only one hint to what the locomotive is. Leave some comments down below what you think the locomotive will be. And Adam, you're the only person who knows what it is, so don't say anything, okay? But I'm gonna give a hint to what it is. The hint is it's steam. I'm gonna leave you with that. All right, guys. Peace. God bless. I'm out, and I'll catch you in that next video. Take care.